Oh, we're going to have a little bit of a walk around this Malawi 110 just to give you an update what's been done. All the fronts all rebuilt. I had to order new rotors because they were too thin. So the calipers have been stripped, new pistons, seals, pads, so they should stop pretty well. The hoses have been replaced, but the steel hoses were fine. There was nothing wrong with those. We got a bearing kit, put that in, so it comes with new bolts and a new cap. We got a kit for the swivel housing, which comes with a new seal, retainer, grease, everything. So that's been filled up, that's good for life. All the bolts have been torqued down. Every bolt's had Loctite fitted to them. I'm quite happy with those. The drag link was good. Steering damper was good. All these have had new replaced rubbers because they were split, but the joints were good, so we filled them full of grease and they'll be good. What else is done? New power steering hoses. If you can remember from my very first video that these were all bodged up and ripped and they'd been brazed, which is never a good thing. Brakes are done. The fluids all bled through, that's good. Clutch is there waiting to get done. We've got some paint on the back firewall. Washer bottle's been replaced, that's done. I'm not putting we've got a new expansion bottle for here, but I'm not putting it on yet because it'll just give us a bit more room to put the engine and gearbox in. Chassis cleaned up, and also the chassis all cleaned out. Me and Curtis hosed it all out. You can see one of the holes there we had to access to put the power wash through, and it was lovely and clean. So that's all taken time. The steering box has been resealed and tested. New tab washers, lock washers on here. Please note, under here the washer goes onto the chassis, not behind the bolt, because that gives you a little bit of room to tweak over the little ear to lock the bolts into place. They're just a little safety thing, but I put Loctite on them anyway. But kind of difficult to access, these ones here, but not impossible. New locking washer on the bottom of the drop arm with the nut torqued up properly. That's done. Yeah, so I'm kind of happy with the front end. The bushes were all good, so they didn't need replacing. I'm going to put a bit of stone chip under here to protect this a little bit better, and then if we ever get round to it, if we ever got the funds, we'll drill into here and we'll squirt some crown rust proofing into this cavity to save it. Let's have a look at the back. As you know, we had a little bit of a problem with the flange. It was over tightened. Now it's good, but there is still a little bit of a play in the diff gears, in the sun and planet gears in there. There's not much we can do about that on our tight ship. The rear rotors were good. These have been rebuilt. New pads, all Ferrodo all the way around, so we won't get squeaky discs, so that's good. Tanks in, new filler hose. The old hose was so hard, it was unbelievable, so we had to put a new hose onto that. We spread some crown rust proofing around the top of the tank and under the shield. We put a new shield on as well because that was all buckled. But there was one thing I want to show you, and I'll set up the light. One of my biggest problems on this tank fitting job, it wasn't too bad because Curtis balanced it on his head, and we give it a good bang. Not his head, but the tank, and everything just fell into place. And these were Britpart tanks, but they're all made in Turkey, so it doesn't matter where you get them from, they all come from the same place. But I want you to observe something here. See these little lugs here? Well, your locking ring is supposed to go into that and then turn. Now, I had a hell of a job trying to get in, now if I can get my camera down, there goes my tool, into this bottom one here. Very difficult to see. So you have to fit in the sender before you fit the tank to check it, in my opinion. So when it's on the floor, put the sender in, check it, make sure it's nice and square, because I had to tweak those under the car once the tank was in, which was a bit of a bugger to do. But I'll show you my tool. Hang on. You've seen this tool before, I've used it quite a few times now. It's cut out to a special design that locks into the ring. You twist and turn it and that's it. The reason why it's got holes here is to pass the wire in through. Quite simple but effective, because you really needed to push that in to do it. Now, like I say, when you fit in the tank, you can't fit the sender and in the tank at the same time, because these are plastic on 300 TDIs, and it just, you can snap off the hose really easy. So just be careful of that when you're doing it. Now, we have given it a sort of light crown rust proofing, not fully, because we didn't want to get Curtis's head all covered in crown. We don't want to crown Curtis, do we? King Curtis. So that's what we're up to. The fulcrum joint has been changed. Also, I'll show you the procedure for putting the rubber washers in the tank. I see an awful lot of people put tanks in and they just bolt everything up rigid. But you can see probably that you can see the chassis drop down piece which the bolts go through. There's a rubber washer, then the tank, then a rubber washer, then the shield, washer, and a locking nut. Now you can see I haven't bent over the tabs at the top. There's no point. I put new bolts through with locking bolts, so that was good. But you can see these aftermarket tanks, okay, they're better than they were, but you can see there's quite a gap underneath there, but that's a good thing because that'll let all the moisture out and trap dirt. Yeah, so nothing really to report there. I've got the axle to put back together. Maybe today, maybe I won't even bother, I don't know. I've also got the water separator to rebuild. I didn't have any seals for that, so I'm waiting for that. Might do that in a separate video. And that's it. The flaky paint I'm leaving, it's not a priority job. Yeah, I've got these all to bolt back up. Let's have a look at the front. I don't think I've missed anything here. Yeah, again, plenty of anti-seize, new, like I say, new rubbers, grease. That's good. The bump stops were good. Yeah, nothing to complain of really. Oops, there's something interesting. Now look at that. I didn't notice that before, but can you see that the bolts are missing from the support and there's no shims in there for the bulkhead? Better put some of them in. Wonder why they're off. There's no rhyme or reason to remove those. Let's have a look at the other side. Yep, that's what they should look like. You see there? See, you're always looking about things, always looking and observing. When you do this is why I like doing Defenders day after day after day, because you just look at them and think, oh, that's not quite right. But sometimes you do miss things, you know, like that, when it's all black you can't see, but hey ho. But I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. It's coming on. But we've done the safety things. We've done the steering, brakes. That's all good. Inside the engine compartment, well, should I put some paint on that? I don't think so. I haven't got time. I put new seals in the vents up at the top because this one didn't even have one in. Yeah, I think on the bottoms there we'll put some rocker coating. What's it called? It sill guard or whatever it's called. I don't know. U-Pol stuff. Spray plastic to protect it a bit better. But again, once the chassis is done, once the transfer case is done, I might just have a pop to JP and see how he's getting on with that. See if he's done it. Then we can start to put all this back together again. What a lot of fun. But today for me, it's spring cleaning day. Yes, I started yesterday a little bit. I've still got my snow mountain over there, but it's going to be a beautiful day today. So I would like to change my wheels on my Yaris, but I know that's not going to happen. Put the summer tyres back on. Look at the mess here, because when I clean my stove out, I throw all the ashes in the yard where it's a low spot. Pretty lazy, but it doesn't really matter, does it? But we've got wheels and tyres all over the place, and old doors, and try and get tidied up a bit. Right, so that's the news. That's the news on this. Hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, that's about as far as we've got really. I might just be tempted to put the pull the gearbox off this and have a look at the clutch today if I've got a few minutes free. In fact, I might just do that. All right, so see you later. Bye.